All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Question.
It's not.
I'm going to be one of the presenters, so I'm going to let Verlin do his announcements on shows.
All right. There's one coming up right away, which I don't remember. Is it the
There's the West Pecan Coffee. I think it's August 20 something or other. I'll check. It's August.
That's right away. Okay.
Okay.
And then right on the heels of that, we have Water to Wine. That will be September 2nd, which is Tuesday after Labor Day through November 1st. They currently don't have a hanging system. I'm hoping that will be resolved between now and then.
We should talk to them.
We'll help them pick it out.
I sent them a link.
Good.
Yeah, we're not going to hang pictures on push pins.
And the Round Rock?
No, it's about a block from Precision Camera, but right down the road. I mean, over there where the sewing store is and that Mexican restaurant.
That's
right over
Water to Wine. That's where you're saying. But we also have a Round Rock Annex show coming up.
That is beginning of next year, which is also closer than it looks.
Okay.
So get your prints ready.
Get the prints ready. Yes. And if you'll allow me, my name is Clay Laban. I'm the membership coordinator. We have a guest, Brett, who's a friend of Larry's. Do you want to say anything about your photography? Anything you're looking for in particular?
Not really, I mostly like the shoot old buildings, architecture. Haven't taken any pictures in a while, but that's going to change.
And Austin Lane, who has become a member, who signed up just earlier today. You want to introduce anything about your
I'll make it go away.
photography?
Well, sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Austin. I really have only been doing photography for about 6 months. I bought a camera, took awful vacation photos, and then decided to take some classes in precision and haven't put a camera down since. So I've been having a lot of fun. There you go. I'm pretty sure someone linked y'all on Reddit. I must have seen Reddit link for it when I was just searching for photography groups and competitions and stuff.
All right, I asked Patrick, we've got nothing new in our presentations for next. I think he's got a couple of months booked out. So what we have here is the group of gentlemen that made the trip to Japan. Mark Interrante, Gary Hook, me. And we're just going to toss around talking about the PowerPoint we put together for the trip. Should give you a pretty good insight into what we did and what we learned.
If you haven't checked your email, voting is open for the July competition. So be sure and put your votes in.
All right. Yep. There we go.
Cool. Just cute. I saw this all over on trucks, and it's Yamamoto Transport, which is basically their FedEx company. I found this on a box in the airport as I was leaving, so it was an opportunity to get the cat and kitten.
So what we learned very quickly is that Japan is all about cute. They're very invested in cute. So one of the first things we saw in the lobby of the hotel was this.
Space bar.
We play it. There we go.
Oh, what that?
There we go. Robots and everything, real life being used. So we were highly amused. Oh. It's just such stuff like that. So yeah. I don't know if we have any volume over there or not.
I tried turning it up.
Yeah, okay. It was just humming. Anyways, so I did that kind of stuff. And then there was functional. Let's see. Over here. try to get this. I'm not a PowerPoint pro. I don't think any of us are.
Are you in presentation mode?
I have no idea if I'm in presentation mode or not. This guy here?
Okay, and now you should be able to,
Slideshow from current slide. No, okay. OneDrive? I don't know. Yeah.
machine is not our friend. And
So while they're doing a little bit of the technology stuff, let me just give a little bit of overview. So we're there about 2.5 weeks. So it was anchored on a photography workshop in northern Japan. So, but to avoid some jet lag, we got there a couple of days early. We then did the northern Japan thing, and then we went back to Tokyo. So it's kind of booking it with Tokyo. And the person who ran the workshop is a person named Martin Bailey. And Martin Bailey's photography podcast, one of the first podcasts out there. So he's been doing this workshop about 15 years. And so it's in Hokkaido, which is the northern island. It's kind of like southern Siberia, if you want to kind of place it. And it gets like 20 feet of snow. Some places get up to 20 feet of snow in a year. Other places as low as 5. And from Austin perspective, that seems like a tremendous amount. So it was all this was in January 1st through like the 20th. So it was kind of the depths of winter. So we're going to kind of start with some stuff in Tokyo, talk a little bit about a little bit of the life, and then we've got some, obviously some of the work we did, and then more a little bit of life. It was landscape and nature. It was not a wildlife workshop, so it wasn't really focused around the animals. There are quite a number of animals, but he's got a different workshop which focuses on some snow monkeys that live in these hot saunas, which are very famous, and people might have seen them, or other animals like that. The landscape is quite barren because there's so much snow. And what you'll end up seeing is a lot of kind of minimalism because it's all snow. And then there's a line or there's something. And so that's a little bit about the aesthetic. And we also met we went to a gallery of some photographers, we'll show you that, who made this area famous back in, we'll say 40 years ago. And so that person's passed away, but his son has taken over and his son is now in his 70s and the grandson is involved. And so they're kind of taking this forward, made this area quite famous.
Okay. When in doubt, reboot, right? Okay, so to talk about the most fascinating technology you ran into, Bill.
This started on my trip when I got on my airplane leaving Houston. JAN Airlines has these seats, the washlet seats in all of the airplanes. This is the most automated controller I've seen. And the buttons across the top are open, small, large, close. Large is the only kanji character any of us learned. The little guy with his arms spread wide. And then the red square, I think we all understand, buttocks, bidet. Huh?
Did you try all the buttons?
No.
And there's combinations.
There's aiming, there's
pressure and temperature. And
It's the future, man. This is the future.
There's an eject there also.
There's a smoking section.
We learned to use Google Translate while we were there. And I went through this PowerPoint and translated all of these little bits just so I'd be sure I had them right.
move, cleaning strength, water position. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And this is one of the last toilets I saw next to the last day. And it looks like it's got a fountain on the back of it, but it's actually a hand wash station. And most of the new homes have this type of toilet in them. So they have the fancy controller for the toilet, usually not the seat up and lid up and down, but everything else is pretty common. I don't think we ever saw a toilet that
No.
wasn't equipped.
No, they're all this way. It was fantastic. It was very hard coming home, just saying. Other innovation, place to put your kid when you're going potty. It's like, we need this.
Drop your kid here.
Drop your kid here, do your business, pick the kid up and go on your way. So fantastic.
One other thing we noticed in a lot of the toilets were that they were a little larger than just minimum space. And on the far side of the wall, there was a platform that would fold down so that if you were changing clothes, you didn't have to stand on the actual floor. You could stand on the platform.
So you discovered.
All of these, you can get anywhere if you have one of these cards. Like you get one of these cards and you can get on any train, any bus, like almost any kind of thing in the world. And it just takes little pieces of money out of your digital money. And it sits there and like life is anywhere in Japan, anywhere in Tokyo. I think it's only Tokyo. No, it's also, I think in Kyoto. So it's in multiple cities. It is really quite
And
awesome.
it's on your phone, you install the app on your phone and you just going through and you just kind of wave it at the machine and it's instantaneous. Space.
This is Shinkansen. So that's the bullet train. So first day we got up and went to Tokyo Station and got on one of these, went out to Fuji. And this was later on in the day. We just started capturing some video of the thing going by. It was very loud and very fast. Lots of fun. Very cool. Fuji was fun. We got off the station and started walking around. First thing we found were manhole covers. Actually, this was a fire hydrant or a fire truck, I guess.
It translates to fire hydrant.
It translates to fire hydrant. The manhole covers often show local landmarks or what have you. And in this particular case, in Fuji, it shows Mount Fuji on one. So they were not all the same, which I thought was incredibly clever and entertaining. Good. We ran over and found a shrine next to about 200 yards.
They got big shrines that are very epic. Then they have pocket shrines everywhere. It's kind of like, we got an extra 1,000 square feet. Let's put a shrine there.
Yeah.
And this was like a pocket shrine right next to a little parking garage, and it had a nice sculpture and a small place to relax and meditate.
There's a little house there. I think
It was a tiny, it was a tiny little house with, and so really kind of fun.
Yeah, so very, very, very cool. And then we got into a cab. So this was the first experience with Google Translate. Got into a cab. We wanted to go to the big shrine in Fuji. No idea where we're going. We don't speak Japanese. First thing cab driver does, I'm in the front seat. Yay. First thing cab driver does is pick up his phone, talks into it, and shows me his phone. Google Translate in action, showing me what he's saying. And so we communicated through Google Translate to express what we were trying to do. And it was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. So first thing I did back in the hotel when I got on Wi-Fi was downloaded Google Translate, got it going on my phone. It was in use everywhere. It was incredibly ubiquitous, very, very cool, made things really easy, in my opinion. So it was just really, really nice. So we got out to the shrine. This is a little pond over one side. We all got pictures of this guy. So lots of very calming things. You'll recognize some of these pictures coming up. And I think typically in the shrines, there's a walkway
Yes.
to the shrine, and some of the smaller shrines, and this wasn't small by any means, but some of these smaller shrines, you will find food vendors or vendors lining the walkway. Okay, so we're walking up and we discovered bananas. Okay, so food vendor had bananas. And this is just some of the colors. There were a lot of different colors. This you'll recognize. Bill's put that in the competition, kid eating the banana. So it was very easy to spot people doing stuff. They were very intense on their donuts, right?
Yeah, they had large scale donut system.
It's like boop, 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 boop. And then they cooked them, and then they were using chopsticks to pop them out and collect them and put them in boxes and sell them to people. It was fantastic.
And there's all kinds, there was just a wide variety of food. This is one of the holiday, it's like a weekend time. And so there's many, many more vendors. And so just a variety of foods, and people are going there with their families and just having quite a social experience. Yeah.
There was a vendor with tacos and he was very defensive and would kind of close up and block my shot if I tried to photograph him.
Some of them didn't care, some did. So this guy, this is a lantern I saw, which the Fuji Nanjingu Shrine. Did I say that right? Based on that.
I think you said it right.
So yeah, so we went around the shrine for a while, took photos, trying not to be typical tourists and annoy people, but watching what was going on. Lots of people, apparently, this was on the 2nd of January,
Yeah.
right? The 2nd of January. It's a 3-day holiday for them, and they all go to shrines to commemorate their ancestors and things like that. So we learned a lot about what was going on. It was also very fun because a lot of people were there, so it was very active and very interesting.
So this is if you took a, like, people do things at these temples, and this is a place where you put basically bad wishes. Like, so you're trying to get rid of some bad luck that's you've happened, your bad fortune you've had in your life. You write it on the note, you tie the note to the string, and like the temple takes it all away. And if you haven't had anything necessarily bad, but you're hoping for some good fortune or some good opportunity in the next year, you might write a good thing on a different string, tie it there, and do that. So very trying to externalize what you wish that was either bad to go away or good to come towards you. So it was really quite fun.
So those.
Yes.
January 1st.
The 3-day holiday, basically.
And I think
Yes.
the third was a peak, because that was when we went to Meiji Jingu.
That's right.
And
yeah.
that was a big deal.
That
So
was a big-
I think it was kind of first, second, third, ramping up to the third.
Yeah.
So yeah, different calendar for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so nobody was, like, in this day, there was almost nobody working except for like vendors. And so like, it was a major holiday. It was kind of like maybe Thanksgiving oriented, like where almost nobody works.
Yeah. And I think there's a structure with these ropes on it, probably several thousand pieces of paper.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is a lot. It's a lot.
And there were usually half a dozen people tying them on each of the structures. There were multiple structures.
So I think this is a ritual hand washing, I think is what these guys are.
I think so.
I think so. So this is over on the side, people would go off. People were making their way to this bamboo fountain. And
Lots of slots and people were cleaning themselves.
Yeah.
There's lots of, many cultures have lots of ritual cleanliness and then no shoes anywhere kind of thing.
Right.
So we went into the temple and you go in with special temple shoes.
Yeah.
Where you pop yours off, go put on the special temple shoes.
yeah, there were activities that I guess people paid to do to help support the temple, but there were activities with prayer and ceremonies and things that people would collect, go off and do this, and so they would take their shoes off to go in to do these sorts of things. We did not embarrass ourselves by
We did not.
participate.
We were still adjusting.
Yeah.
We did more embarrassment stuff later.
Fuji was covered in clouds when we got there. By the time we left at 3 o'clock, it was open. So we actually got a shot of Mount Fuji in January, which is apparently rare. So.
And
so
there
that was
were
it. Oh.
more power cables running across the mountain that Lightroom removed for me.
Yeah. About the best we
But-
could do.
The power system in Japan is really unique in that it is mostly above ground, while Europe and a lot of the US has gotten stuff underground. The Japanese haven't, which is just one of the things that surprised me they're behind on.
Think of them as being technologically ahead.
They're holding out for the possible nuclear reactors.
Yeah. So we'll go through this probably pretty quick. That
Yeah.
night, we went off to this area, which is Shinjuku or? Shinjuku, and saw this place here. And then more interestingly was this building, which is a Gashapon Hall. Okay, and the reason that we wanted to go here or go to one of these was that Nikon produced a bunch of toys to be distributed in these things. And I actually have some here. We found in that place one of the machines for Nikon stuff. So we spent many yen trying to find this out. Neither of us got a full set of things, but we both got a set of 3. And I've got some others here as well. So this is a little this is a little capsule, and you put your money in, and these things fall out. So
So these are micro, these are like,
Yeah.
and here's, I guess this is the shot with it. This is the actual camera.
we won't run the video. That's this thing here. So this one actually makes sound and light. I did not buy more. There was a twin lens reflex in this machine. A couple of other things. I didn't buy any more. I regret not
That's why
doing
he
that.
has these.
When I took it out and went, oh, it makes noise. I wish I had more kind of thing. So,
I assume they had.
pardon?
No, they did not have Canon.
No,
I
Nikon,
was like the
Nikon's the only one
Nikon
that
guys
does.
have a time. I was
So,
kind of
they
just chilling.
Nikon. So, yeah. So I think I've got a Z9 in here and a ZF. I think it's what I grabbed up. So.
Had to have the Z9.
Kauai has done it with their pianos. This little piano, apparently this clear lucite piano is used by a famous Japanese artist, pop artist. And so he's identified with this lucite one. So we ended up finding a couple of the little pianos. They're about yay big. And then what else did I put in here? Oh, my favorite one is my lead. We were at a shopping center, I think,
Yes.
and I found this guy in one machine. They had several hundred machines. I walked around, I couldn't find anything I liked until I saw the little vegetables. I thought, well, I've got to buy a vegetable. And so I got this thing. It's adorable. There were 5 other types. Again, I didn't buy more, and I regret that. They're kind of addictive. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've been chastised for not bringing it home.
grandkids. So there's a little light that you can replace batteries in. And then little cute things. And then Pokemons. This is a Pokemon Corgi knockoff. And
It just keeps going. It just keeps, there's so many of these. Yes.
they're all in these.
They're little vending machines and you're like, okay, this is the piano vending machine and this is the Nikon camera vending machine. And there's like hundreds of these vending machines. And the store's got an employee who just kind of goes around if people need help or whatever. And you just pour money into it and you get these things out and it takes a while.
You just, the hard part's walking around finding what you want. I didn't bring my R2D2s. I have R2D2s as well. So yeah, yeah.
There's a sushi bar at airport in Lamar that when it's a sushi going by on the conveyor belt. And after you've spent a certain amount, it dispenses little things, but I didn't see anything as cool. as
Yeah, that's
that.
one thing. We didn't do the sushi belt thing anywhere because some of us don't eat seafood.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
So-
so there's a Nikon vending machine.
Yeah.
Pardon?
And there's a Nikon vending machine that dispenses these little toys.
There's a Gashapon machine with Nikon capsules in it, yes.
And you were trying to get a set of Nikon stuff.
Yes.
How many different Nikon toys were in there?
4.
But you don't know what you're gonna get.
So they got
you
lots
keep
of the,
pumping money into it, so you,
And then you finally give up.
and then you give up. That's
I'm
how-
thinking by the time you get to 16, you've got one of each.
some of them are rarer than others. It's not an normal distribution. There's like, oh, the common one and the less common ones and the very special one.
Yeah.
So you pour more money in to get the special ones, apparently.
So you got the manga stuff, anime stuff, Pokemon stuff, weird things like the little round puppy thing we saw. I mean, just huge range of things. And pretty much the machines are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just not necessarily a lot of them. Because you can walk by and go, I have 300 yen, I'm going to stick it in here and get something. And I think both kids and adults
A lot of adults.
participate
Yes.
in this. It's,
Obviously,
yeah.
adults do.
So it's mostly adults, at least where we were.
Yeah.
I think,
Kids.
yeah, there are 3 kids.
Yeah.
So I think the rare Nikon,
I'm sorry.
the rare Nikon one is the Nikon F with it has a interchangeable lens. That's-
So the
that-
Z9, I haven't opened this one, the Z9, it's a 72-200 that you put on there. I think that it wasn't SLR, it's
It's
a
a-
rangefinder maybe?
It's a Nikon F.
Is it an app? Okay.
Yeah.
Different things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have one of those. I have a ZF, a Z9 and a SLR, F1.
They sell them on eBay for lots of money.
Yes.
Yes. So we then kind of went back to Tokyo and now we're kind of in the downtown Tokyo area near Tokyo Station, and
By the palace.
by the palace.
This is by the palace.
Yes, that's
Which
right.
You can't go to. You can go around the
You
palace.
can go around the palace, you
to
can't go to the palace. And then you were having fun with this.
So there's a water garden, which is one of the attractions near the palace. And so we went over, and we were just spending time. So one of the things I wanted to do on this trip was to experiment with some multiple exposure work, because I didn't have any agenda while we were walking around Tokyo, other than just taking pictures of whatever I found. And so this was fun with the water garden. I just kind of stood there taking multiple photos of things like this. I made a lot of exposures.
You did.
Yeah, while these guys were doing that, I was finding my way to Tokyo
Oh,
Clinic to have my blood pressure medicine replaced because it almost got packed.
Almost.
I had the vial for it so I could count out a small amount and wouldn't be a big bottle in my luggage. But I packed the bottle and no medication. So I had to find Tokyo Clinic. I had to get there. And Google Maps does a real good job of navigating. And I mean, it helps you through the train stations, tells you which car to get on the train. But the last 100 feet, it's lacking. I think two or all of us got lost in the terminal trying to get to the hotel.
The terminal was difficult, yes,
There's a lot of getting lost.
yes.
But it's the last few yards that you get lost.
How was your experience in the clinic once you finally got there?
Well, I got laughed at. Oh, yeah, they filled it, no issue. But
They
they
just
laughed at
you
me
for
because
forgetting
I
it?
didn't have a list of them. I had the empty bottles that had notes written on them by the pharmacist, says for travel. And,
But you got it taken care of.
Got to take care of.
and got a set of directions to the pharmacy to have them filled that were read from bottom right to top left. And once again, the last 100 feet was a challenge.
We ran into that in one of the restaurants too that we tried to go find, which was corner building on the second or third or eighth floor, whatever. So yeah, it's like, it's not just this, it's this.
It's 3D.
It's three-dimensional.
Lots of Apple Store kind of stuff. Lots of places to buy things.
Did we get the translation for the Apple Store?
The what?
No.
I did not.
Actually, I translated it and it says something about a sale in November.
Okay.
No. Walking around, I saw this handle somewhere and just took a picture of it because I like the light and the color and stuff. And yeah, it's just, there's all kinds of opportunities for whatever.
There's neon kind of everywhere. So there's a lot of reflected light. There's a lot of ambient, pulsar lighter kind of look. And it's kind of like you're kind of just all over the place, which is really kind of cool.
Another nod to the US.
Yes. We have places that we're exporting.
We didn't go there.
No, we walked by it.
We didn't go there. You guys saw this in the competition this last month. So we walked up and down the Ginza, walked into a store and talked to them about watches.
Yes.
Just all kinds of cool stuff.
We were
Starting at $100,000 US.
Yeah.
They had some more affordable models.
Yeah.
They
And-
came and pulled the three of us off the street and says, come on in, we got fresh baked cookies. And, he's smiling and knowing he's just BSing us. He
Yeah.
wanted somebody in the store.
He wanted somebody to talk to.
This is my budget right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This was a real surprise. I took this image with the iPhone just to document that you had paid tastings. 2,000 yen, about $14 for a third of an ounce of Japanese whiskey. Normal serving in the US is an ounce and a half. Well, I showed this to a liquor store here in town, not thinking anything other than paid tastings. That bottle of whiskey in the US runs somewhere between $800 and $900.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to pay to taste it.
So it was really interesting that they had many of these high-end bottles were already open. You could buy a closed bottle. It was behind there, but they had an open bottle and they would, measure out a tasting and you could just drink it there or they would give you a vial and you could, take it home.
I didn't try it. If I'd have known how special it was, I would have tried it.
They had Jack Daniels.
But without tasting it, I can swear to you that it's better than Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we walked in the store, this whiskey store, and there were tons and tons of whiskeys from all over. I ran across an Irish whiskey that I discovered in Dingle, Ireland, and the last bottle I bought of that was $100. In this store, it was $35. So I bought a $35 bottle of whiskey that we enjoyed the rest of the trip.
We did. It was very quick. It was like,
Okay.
the
So,
photography suffered, but the whiskey was a good time. Yeah.
okay, Meiji Jingu.
Yes.
Meiji Jingu Shrine, right? Okay, so this was a huge shrine. If you look on the Tokyo map, there's a big green area for this thing. All right, and the shrine is huge. The walkway from the Main Street is very long, very wide.
It's a whole park, basically.
It's a whole park. It's a whole city park, basically. Yes, sir.
You said ignoring vending machines full of toys, do they need cash or is everything payable with cards?
Cash.
No, aside from the vending machines, almost everything was cards.
Right. Yeah.
We used de minimis, almost no cash in the
Yeah.
whole trip.
It was all electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these things were all coins.
But those were coins.
Coins.
And you didn't have to buy Goshapan. You
This
could,
was like a game arcade. You walk in, you change your money into coins and you use your coins.
yes.
That's great.
The gate on this shrine was worth talking about.
Yeah.
In that it looks like it's real new wood and it's shrink wrapped in clear plastic as high up as you can reach, so it doesn't get stained.
Lots and lots of people. Lots of people. Very, very crowded.
Yeah. And so more people and,
Two people were recognizable in that last image.
Oh, there we are.
yes, that's
That was my normal view, trying to keep up.
Weather was fantastic. It was just chilly, but beautiful. It was fantastic.
This was another temple we went to. Again, this is on the third day of the holiday, so lots of people. And this was really focused around calligraphy, and calligraphy is a big thing in the new year, and so people practice it. There's lots of displays of it. There's I think a number of photos we didn't share that had just kind of displaying their work, and students. Everybody's a student. I mean, if you're like you've done it for 50 years, you're still a student of the thing. You know, you're still getting better at it.
At a place like this, the shrine, what's the tourist, local Japanese ratio, just generally?
1 or 2% tourists.
Yeah.
No, 1 or 2% non-Japanese.
Right.
Because I think many people were coming from other parts of Japan. So they were local Japanese tourists. There's a lot of them.
Okay, Western tourists. I
Western
guess.
tourists, yeah, 1 or 2% Western tourists.
Wow.
Not very many at all, but nobody had us. They didn't treat us oddly. So it was like, okay, we were cool. We tried to be very respectful. You know, it's like, you're doing your thing. We don't want to interrupt.
No.
So.
And like calligraphy on one side and bonsai, there are whole exhibits of bonsai. So there'd be 10, 15 different exhibits. And some of these were, a couple hundred years old. I mean, it's kind of quite wonderful.
Yeah, lots of opportunities for photos. I caught this guy in a spot of light coming through the trees. Opportunity there, so keeping the camera handy.
So one of the things I think like Tokyo's kind of infinite. I mean, it's the biggest city in the world. So it's like 40 million people all in. And so, but it's deeply urban. So, but then you have like, okay, we need to find more nature. And so there's a whole bunch of these buildings where they basically built a nature park on the top of the building. And so this is probably, I don't know, half an acre to an acre. I mean, there's 50 or 75 people up there just chilling out, relaxing, doing things. And you don't have to go to this, it's a store. So, I mean, you don't have to go buy anything. You just go up there and hang out in the park. And there's lots and lots of these. And I thought it was really quite wonderful. And the next photo kind of captures more the street view of, it's just embedded in the city. And then costume play is absolutely huge in this area. So people dress up in various different costumes. Here, they're vendor selling you all kinds of exotic costumes, and that was quite fun to watch. Because I've seen people do these cosplays in these neighborhoods before. We've seen photos of them, and that's kind of where you buy the stuff.
We saw oh, wait, read the translation there.
So the translation is Japan's longest experience, length that pops out. Very South Park for me.
Is that a potato?
It's a sweet potato, spiral cut and fried.
Spiral.
Spiral.
And
Fender guitar, and what's the translation there?
innovation never ends. There's a big love of American classical, but classical being maybe the World War II period, the preppy period, just like a lot of things that are kind of solid America, they are completely into. We went into some not sweatshirt places, and you're like, oh, Dartmouth, UCLA, it's all these college shirts where they bought them in they're not even new. I mean, they're all, they buy them from surplus. And people are like, this is how fashionable clothing is. American streetwear, basically.
I shot a picture of a small kid in that same store, just sitting staring at the guitars. It wasn't a good image. It was too reflective. So it's not in this set.
He looked at them a long time.
The kid, yeah. Somebody found us a coffee shop just off the side of one of the big streets,
And then there was a chocolate tureen involved.
and it was to kill for. I'm a foodie, but there is no food to die for. Other people could get hurt though.
So what you do, I don't know if you can see it, but that's actually a little bit of, yeah, go back. A little bit of gold leaf on there. This is a common approach to dessert. This is not special. This is average. So they don't mess around. I mean, the food was to die for, okay? It was easy to eat well and not expensively.
Yeah, it was less expensive than I expected.
Less expensive.
Yes,
Wow.
at least,
Than you expected.
The
yes.
only thing that was crazy expensive was the Tokyo Clinic.
Well, and the breakfast at the hotel was overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the hotel was overpriced, period.
My meal, because the meals that I had at restaurants were cheaper than the meals I'm having in Austin when I eat out.
Surprising. Wow.
And they were not necessarily, they were kind of the same class of kind of food.
Yeah, because that carbonara we had, I think it was like $16 for that. And
Oh, that
it
was wonderful.
It was fantastic.
Yes.
The best carbonara I'd had in Tokyo. So yeah.
In a restaurant that had less than 10 seats.
Yeah, it was great. It's fantastic. So, and then coffee.
And they have wonderful little printers where they print things. This is like,
What do you guys that can see that screen?
Nice to meet you. Congratulations. I'm here.
I'm here, yeah, basically.
I don't know.
I found a barbecue place that we wanted, we tried, and it's actually American barbecue and a variety of styles. And it's no reason to go to Tokyo for it. But on the other hand, we ate it and we were fairly happy with it.
It was acceptable barbecue. It wasn't like going to Lockhart.
Lots of white
but
people.
Yes.
There were lots of white people there. Lots of Westerners. But it was decent, yeah.
This
And
is
somebody
what
had
my
more chicken.
desktop looked like when I got unpacked for a couple of days in the hotel. The laptop, the flash drive, the card reader, the mouse. Everything's there except the camera that I took the phone and the camera.
So we spent 3 days wandering around, having a great time. Tokyo's fantastic. I would happily go back again. I've been twice now. I got to go once for work about 25 years ago, and it was amazing. And I didn't even know what I was doing, and this was even better. So we all met the rest of the tour group, had dinner together on Sunday night. I'm getting that right. And then Monday morning, we all got up and got on the plane. So we went up to Hokkaido, which is a northern island in Japan. And this is the spots where we stayed. So we started in BA, which is the one in the middle. I'll pull my mouse over here. So we started in BA, which is here. This is a Hokkaido. Went up to that on the coast. We ended up going to Wakanai, which is up here. We went down and stayed in Omu, and then we ended up in Soroma, and there's a big lake by that, and that was kind of fun. We got some things from that as well. So had a really good time wandering around, but we started in BA, and there was snow. So this was our first day there. Actually, just got off the plane.
Yeah.
I think.
How cold?
Pardon?
Very cold.
Surprisingly, no. The wind blew a few days, and that made it kind of bitter, but this wasn't for me. I don't mind cold, but this was not bad for me.
That day.
Just
But there were many
barely-
days it was the low double digits.
Yeah.
So it was like between 10 and 15 degrees. And they said buy the next level of cold gear. And in some cases we did, in some cases we didn't, in some cases we cried because we wish we had. But yeah, parts got cold. And you get all different kind of, it can be quite cold. And you got to deal with it. I mean, it's some of that stuff.
Nobody got frostbite on their feet though, so there was that.
Nobody did.
Yeah.
This is, for example, snow minimalism kind of shots with the landscape. Ravens are everywhere in Japan. So these are very large, they're bigger than crows and much bigger than grackles. And they go in very large flocks and they're kind of wonderful. We see there's some more shots of the ravens around. Really smart, like the poem says. Yep, don't mess with them.
Yeah. I was trying to kind of take a Japanese aesthetic approach with minimalism as well. So that was one of my goals for this trip. Honestly, I don't remember whose picture this one is. So just kind of go through these and you know, kind of seeing stuff with lots of snow and sky and stuff like that. So enjoying that. That's the snow.
That's
So-
mine. I had to show the snow.
Yeah. The nice thing, the way he ran this tour is we were stationed we were set in BA. We actually went to this spot 3 times.
Yeah, different days, yeah.
On different days. And so the weather was different. There's snow on one day, but gave us time to actually go shoot and then go think about it and go back and see what else we wanted to do. Kind of revisit. So we're really, really nice.
How big was the workshop group? How many workshop
10
participants?
people, 10 participants,
10?
10 participants, a driver who was just driving, an assistant who was doing all the assistant logistics, and then the lead.
What was a typical day with this workshop?
7:30 in the morning breakfast, on the
8:30 departure?
8:30 departure, shoot, lunch at 7-Eleven or someplace that's kind of random, shooting again, processing photos and drinking after that, and then dinner.
Yeah, we're kind of done by 4:30 because sun was set.
Sun was like, it was the middle of the night, yeah, it was winter.
Did you get together in the evenings?
Socially, so I guess some workshops have more of a review and more of light criticism. This workshop was not about that.
Yeah.
Was there much instruction while you're out shooting, or were you just kind of guided to where?
Look there. Look over there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was the instruction.
So it was not heavy on instruction. It was getting you to cool places and letting you do your thing.
He was there to answer questions though, because I had some questions around exposure and ideas around, like, for example, shooting manual, float the ISO, and kind of expose to the right, but don't clip. And so he was like, okay, let's practice that a couple of times. So I just hadn't shot that way before. And he was like, look, this is the way to shoot this, because your camera has no idea what to do with all this light. And so you really want to capture as much of it as
That
possible.
was my next question. What's the exposure challenge in this?
The exposure challenges were,
Yeah. But he got everybody set.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done this many years, so he got everybody set and taught us all how to do this. And so after the first couple of days, we're like, okay, I feel like I understand what I'm supposed to do. There were some accomplished people in this workshop.
this was the most accomplished workshop I've been to.
Yes, there were some very accomplished people. There's a story I'll tell a little bit about what we were doing as well when we get to another shot.
So the other thing is thermal management. I had not anticipated, because you're in the bus and the bus is like, just say 62, 65 degrees. Well, now your gear is 65 degrees. And as soon as you get it out into 11 degrees, things shrink, things fall up. I mean, it just managing the fog and just the humidity was somewhat of a challenge until you got used to it.
Yeah, because you have had to deal with that in the Yukon, right? I mean, you've gone cold places as well, right?
It's just negative. But yeah, but when you shoot landscapes, taking a couple of shots and move on, so you don't have to go to the rate. You know, now if you go see polar bears and shooting thousands, and they're making sure you values and stuff.
Yeah, we all pretty much took the bag out, exposed the camera, let it get cold, put it back in the bag to put it on the bus, and leave it in the bag so it would stay cold till the next spot. Was really the big thing. So we adapted
Yeah.
pretty quickly. So this was fun. Pardon?
Battery operated.
Yeah,
Yes.
nobody complained of batteries, so we all. did roll-
Everybody bought lots of batteries.
We had lots of batteries, so.
We had lots of batteries.
So same scene, let's see, so we got that same scene without the snow, as much snow, another minimalism kind of thing. You've seen this one, I think, in one of the competitions?
No, this one hasn't been in a competition, not with the crow,
Not this, well,
not with the raven.
Right. The house was, I think, didn't?
Yeah,
didn't
that,
we
we've
have-
seen,
The house with glowing window.
yeah,
Okay,
and,
we did the house, yeah, but not with the crow. So,
and this is a house.
same house.
That I entered in Texas PPA competition and it got a seal.
Hmm.
This is the image I entered, and it's hard to see on that screen, but there's a set of tracks that come out of the snowdrift
Over
down
here.
forward
It's hard to tell, but over here.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
and go back towards the house.
That's cool.
That's what's
and then I did a shot, even less, so. It's fun to see how we all approach this differently,
But you got that minimalism thing going on, definitely.
pretty much, yeah. Then this little abandoned house with some trees by it, so this was fun, we spent some time looking at this.
And we
So-
kind of lived at the 7-Eleven.
7-Elevens are ubiquitous and very, very, very cool, way cooler than they are here.
Yeah, this is our bus, and we each took a seat, both seats, at least two seats, and a lot of people that sat further back take their two seats and the two across the aisle from them, since there were only 10 of us in the regular seating.
It was nice, not being crowded. So this is one of the things he likes to go to. So I realized I did remember. So I think they called this the family trees. The idea is that you've got a mature one on the left, a mature one on the right, and an immature one in the middle. And so this is a thing that people go and do. And so we went back and did this a couple times. The Ravens liked it. So lots of different things as well. And then sometimes fog lifted. Was this one mine?
This is yours.
This is mine.
This is a different day.
Yeah, so a different day when the fog lifted, it wasn't quite as whited out. So you can see the clouds. And NBA, there is I guess a museum is what they call it.
A gallery.
So there's a guy, and I didn't we didn't bring our books. Shoot.
So this is the guy that popularized this place as a photographic aesthetic. And it was really quite beautiful. I mean, he kind of had minimalism but he also had it spring and other, not just winter.
Yeah.
And shooting for many decades.
Yeah, so many decades, he would acquire permission to go on people's property. And this was before it was a thing, so nobody knew about the place, so he could go in, get access to these places and take these shots. And they're all very, very cool. We each got a book. The guy was really accomplished. And then now, more recently, the owners don't let people go on their property because they're tired of the tourists. And so, what was a good thing has gotten destroyed because of all the popularity. The guy did beautiful work. And so this
Large
building-
format cameras.
And we went in, there were some, say, 5-foot prints, maybe 5-foot prints.
Well, on an 8x10 view camera, you can make big prints.
Yeah, so beautiful stuff. So that was fun. Next to a birch and pine grove.
That he planted 50 years ago
Okay.
or 60 years ago.
And so Mark went outside and did a video. Very, very tall, 50 feet, 40, 50 feet.
Yeah, at least very tall and very good.
And
Kind
it
of,
was about this time we learned about the bad tourists in Japan. They're Koreans. They really don't like Koreans. We had Koreans show up in a taxi where everybody was out shooting. They hopped out, took a few frames and were gone.
Yeah, they were the ugly Americans. So we're gonna go here. So while we were there, there was a couple doing an engagement shoot. And so I was standing around playing with my multiple exposures and took a picture of them doing their engagement shoot. So that's them down the aisle of trees there. They were trying to get the trees with nobody behind them because this thing went on. The photographer's on the other side of them. And so the photographer was coaching them. I knew I didn't need them to be doing anything particular because I was doing this. So I leaned out, took my 6 pictures and got back out of the way again. So
This is a very romantic place from a Korean's point of view.
It-
There's
it
lots of
was.
couples, lots of people in that, bonding phase.
Yeah.
It was all very cute.
It was
They
all
were,
very
they
cute.
were very cute.
So
Yeah.
how many of their engagement photos are you in?
How many what?
How many of their engagement photos are you in?
Probably dozens. They were taking a lot of pictures.
They were taking a lot of
Yeah.
pictures.
So another spot in VA where you could kind of sometimes see farther than just a line of trees. So this one I worked on a lot just to get to the point where you can see the tree on the left and then there's a row of trees on the right that fades off as well. Lots of visual fun in this place. It was great.
Oops.
So,
Went too far. There we go.
yeah, so you have the field and all that kind of jazz.
Just trying different compositions.
Yeah.
This was one day when it was blowing so hard, we didn't want to get off the bus.
It was cold.
It was cold, and the bus driver ended up backing down this road to give us different views of this windswept hill. And I didn't really capture the motion, but the results of the snow blowing is what you're looking at there.
And the sun would come out and then it would disappear behind a cloud and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. It was very cool. Very cool. Yes. You've seen this.
Now, here's one you've seen.
Yep.
And that's about 2 feet tall, kind of like that, pretty good size pile of snow.
It's just snow?
Pardon?
That mushroomy thing, it's just snow?
Just well,
Lot of
there's
plants.
there's a plant, and I don't know what it is, but the way they prepare the plant for winter is they tie it up in a tighter bundle. They trim off the top of it flat.
Okay, you can
That's
see
why it makes-
branches.
Yeah, then it gets a hat.
You can see branches in this one, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So lots of opportunities with this one subject to do different things. This is my shot where I wanted the sky and the clouds to show up as well. And I could always crop it down and just do the bottom part if I wanted to. So we went to a river.
And I was pretty intrigued by all the abstractions and just kind of weird kind of S curves and kind of weird little bubbles in it. The next shot
And-
kind of highlights that even more.
And the rocks collecting more snow. So lots of opportunities there. We didn't spend nearly enough time there, in my opinion.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, that was a fun spot. So mostly trying not to get hit by cars going over the bridge. So
That's always
yeah.
a challenge.
grass is coming up through the snow, so all kinds of things. And then we went to that's not a video, is it?
Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
And-
So one day we went to a ski basin,
Right.
which is where this is. So you can't tell, well, it's hard to tell, but those are two skiers coming down the slope back there, all right?
This
So-
is the end of the ski run. They're coming back to the lift. We're
And we're
not
standing in the
100
middle of the
yards
ski
from the
run.
lift.
No, we were told to stay to the side. We were-
Most of the time.
Most of the time we did, but we were told to stay out of the way because they could come down.
That's me at the end of the line there.
So basically we could walk back a little bit to where the hill started and we were just taking pictures on the side. So you can see it's lined up here.
And more shots of. It's out of.
There's Bill.
No,
That's Bill on the left.
primary colors and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah. I was off doing my own thing. I'm just taking pictures of trees. Okay, two skiers. That's the depth of the snow once you get off of the run. Okay, so Martin, is that Martin in the red or? Okay, so Martin basically got to the spot, went about 8 or 10 feet into the snow, planted his tripod and started taking pictures. He's just having a grand time. I'm going, what the hell are you seeing? Because I'm looking around going, I don't see anything. So we were out there for quite a while and I kind of looked around and tried to figure it out. So we went and had lunch. So this is a story I wanted to tell you. So we went and had lunch and I asked him what he was seeing because he's over here, I'm over here and blah, blah, blah. But I asked him at lunch, I was like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be looking for. And so he showed me some of the work he had done in that area where he had taken one tree or several trees and brought them out with contrast and then pushed all the rest of them back. And I went, oh, I saw what he had done. I walked outside and in 15 minutes had 4 unique shots. This is one of them. Like, okay, now I see what I'm doing here with this particular scene. So he was able to answer questions, but he also let us do our own thing, which was cool too. But yeah, I was really happy with this one.
When you're shooting and blowing snow like this, how hard is it to protect your lens?
Did you see the towel I had out over the front of my lens? That's the best way to keep snowflakes off your lens.
Yeah.
So you're kind of shielding it from the
Yeah.
wind?
Well, I cover it up until I'm ready to shoot, pop it off, shoot, get it covered.
Or if the lens hood, maybe if the snow's coming from the side, the lens hood is going to cover it up and it's not going to get on there, but you keep a cloth handy because you're going to need it. So yeah, it wasn't,
And your camera's covered already too.
Yeah.
and the camera's cold already. So once you get past the fog,
I-
I didn't find it difficult to deal with.
I had no real issues with snow or fog on the lens other than in that area where it was snowing so hard.
Everybody had pretty weather sealed type cameras. I mean, these guys are whatever the big Nikon thing is, but like everybody had cameras that were pretty weather sealed.
Yeah, nobody had a problem with that. So,
Yeah.
so
So-
the ski basin was fun.
This is contrast separation in post, this picture.
I'm sorry.
You used contrast to separate the front tree from the back trees in post on this one. This is an example of that.
Yeah, definitely playing with tone curves on the one versus everything else, to get things to stand out.
More 7-Eleven.
7-Elevens. And then the weather got really bad.
Oh, back up and
Okay.
read the translation on
Oh,
that.
okay. Reliable quality at an affordable price with delightful value declaration.
I mean it.
I mean it.
What's the translation?
Reliable quality at an affordable price, delightful value declaration. It's weird. I mean, like, cause it's not the same species of 7-Eleven that we have. Because people go, it's food, people go there, you get salads there, you can get a wide variety of stuff there.
Oh,
So
coffee.
you can get coffee there.
Coffee.
They have vending machines
They don't
with
have
hot coffee or cold coffee or both.
But
When
the
was the
hot
last time you were in a
coffee
7-Eleven in the United States? You can get all those things here now.
Not at the same quality level for a decent price. Like nobody wants to go to 7-Eleven to eat here. In Japan, we go to 7-Eleven to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a whole different experience.
I was surprised.
So,
The weather got real bad, and so we were kind of stuck in the snow a bit. And so I ended up getting my iPhone out and shooting through the glass of the bus. And it have about 40 images from here. So I kind of like them. They're a bit more minimalism, and again, kind of look a little bit like ink drawings. And then things that look like, staircases. You're just kind of find out what's interesting to look at and how to play with it. And hopefully I'll find 5 or 7 that I want to turn into a little body of work. But I definitely enjoyed it as something to do while you're kind of trapped in the kind of pretty lousy weather. And so this, then I think Bill took the next photo of the same scene, basically.
Now, this is coming down from a large parking lot to the shrine that we drove down to much closer because the stairs weren't functional. So,
Someone tried.
someone tried and probably didn't succeed.
yeah. The snow was deep. It was a bit challenging.
This is the little shrine right down on the rocky coast, looking up away from the shore. And that's all there was to this shrine. But the gate out in the surf is just something we kept coming back to and coming back to. I think we tried the first day that we were there, and the snow was so deep and so blowing that we gave up.
So we came back
pushing
to
the-
this 3 times. We came back to this 3 different times because the weather was very different at the time. And the sky was different, and the waves and water, the ocean was quite different. We got a few different shots of that to show.
It's a very famous shrine. You're going to see the classic shot here in a moment. So it's a lot of fun. And then the thing up on the cliff face was where you actually go in and pray.
Whoops.
And then is this one mine?
That's yours.
Is this mine? Okay, yeah. I decided to do mine from the side. I've got a straight on one as well, but I like the sunset behind it, so I went over to the side. And this is actually probably, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a lens baby shot and probably a multiple exposure.
It's a long exposure, just looking at the
The
surf.
cloud, yeah, the clouds, yeah. So putting things together and getting
Back up
more
a
blur.
couple.
So it was a fun spot. The beach was 10 feet wide.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of had to share the beach and moving around from the optimal spot to see it face on. So a lot of cooperation between the.
I found I like this side view with the rocks in the foreground and the surf breaking on it. That was kind of my favorite position. I think the center on shot was, that's the one you always see.
Yeah, it's been done.
Yes, I think one thing is interesting for me is this workshop went back a number of times to places, even for just 30 minutes, you're just going back to see, partially because like as he said, I built buffer in the workshop because if we've got horrible weather and we're kind of snowed out or where it's bad, then I need to be able to not have to rush off to the next thing because I want to make sure people can get some shots of a thing they're interested
And we got lucky.
Yeah.
We got lucky, so really good weather. So.
These one.
Now here's food that Mark wouldn't eat.
Mark does not do seafood.
And the interesting thing here is, this is the way they normally set the table for you. With your chopsticks, the closest thing to you right in front. And this is the appetizer.
And there's stuff I do eat.
Yep.
Meat. Yes.
Mushrooms.
Yeah. So the food was really
All kinds of
quite high
stuff.
end.
So, yeah. We didn't, I gained 10 pounds on this trip. I ate way too much. I did not starve.
So up in the northern areas, there's some mountains right as they kind of come down from the towards the ocean, and there's just lots of places where there's kind of really kind of enjoyable kind of mountain abstracts, and there's those black dots at the very top of that little V are deer, and there's thousands of deer and all over the place that are apparently quite tasty, and because every restaurant had deer on the menu, which is quite good.
This was popular.
Yes.
I got a kick out of seeing all the grasses sticking through the snow with no leaves. So I was on the lookout for things like that just to maybe create a body of work. So I had fun just looking for different things just to see what caught my eye. So lots of fun. So just a random sampling. I haven't really done any work with it yet, but kind of go through like lots of different shapes and things like that. So kind of fun. And then what were we doing here?
You were talking to the Tasmanian guy.
This is the boat yard.
Yes.
This is the boat graveyard.
And it was blowing and cold.
Yeah. So one of his big things is a boat. One of his big things is a boat graveyard on the coast here, somewhere between Haburo and Wakanai. And apparently there's a junkyard here. So all the snow you're seeing us standing on covers up junk or dirt. And apparently it's very dangerous to walk over it. That didn't stop him. But we got over to the spot and we got some pictures of it as well. But their attitude towards refuse is a little bit different than ours. And so they just kind of pile it up, I guess. Apparently you don't want to see it in the springtime. It's in the snow, when it's covered up with snow, it's pretty, but the rest of the time it's not. So
That's an offshore volcanic island there in the background.
yeah, so that's a national park over there on that island. So you can go over there and hike if you want to. It looks really cool on the map, but we didn't go over there. I had fun taking pictures of it from where we were. It was fun. Vending machines, we talked about vending machines everywhere. Okay. Oh, the other thing, bathrooms everywhere. Not a problem to find a bathroom. I felt like it was like, it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't get any pictures of the boat graveyard in here?
They're coming.
Are they coming? Okay.
hope so.
Okay.
So
Another thing on the vending machines and bathrooms.
Yeah.
Trash cans.
So there are no trash cans in Japan. It turns out-
it's a shoe bomber problem.
It
They had a
tur-
problem at one time and therefore it's a shoe bomber problem.
Yeah, they had a deaf cult 30, 40 years ago. Those of us who are my age might remember.
They use
That the
sarin gas
ricin?
to
They
kill
use
people
sarin
on the
gas,
trash.
Yeah.
And they put these bombs in trash containers. And so after they got this whole problem cleaned up, all the trash cans went away. So there are no public trash cans in Tokyo. You carry your trash with us and go find some place to properly dispose of it.
All because of Om Shinrikyo?
Yep.
It's the same thing as Tylenol.
Yeah.
We still have wrappers on the top of the Tylenol bottle because of what happened with the cyanide, right? So, yeah, no public trash cans in Japan.
So this is the furthest north point in
Northernmost
Japan.
point in Japan.
And if you look closely at this, where the sky is, that's Russia. So basically you can see Russia from here, actually, technically.
That's Russia. They own an island out there.
Yeah.
So, oh, also, I was going to point out, if you look at a map, you realize Hokkaido is the same distance north as like Washington State. Okay, but it's surrounded by water, so you're going to get different thermal effects, but it's that far north. Tokyo is more like LA.
Yeah.
LA. I mean, Japan's very long, it turns out. So yeah, we're pretty far north here.
So this is a video.
Video.
A video.
I had seen the snow blowers and I had to shoot this, and so did Martin. Might rerun it. And the trucks are there to be loaded with snow to haul it off to dump it in the ocean. Look on the right-hand side, the motion.
Japan is living in the next century.
That's amazing.
Yep. Very cool. Adorable cars.
We all wanted their little cars. They're very small. You can trade one big F-150 in for 4 of these. They're all very efficient.
They're all about the cute.
They're very cute. They're very cute cars.
Very cute.
And
Oh,
I,
yeah. Okay.
oh, you missed, where's the pickup?
Go back to the car.
The pickup's not here.
I thought it was right after the
No.
car. Never mind.
They change order.
Yeah.
So I think I took this
I think
one.
that's you.
So I was doing multiple exposures, trying to turn the graveyard into something a little more emotionally interesting. And then I think somebody else got.
And then
another-
the classic shot of the graveyard is this one, the big wide angle where you get all these hulks sitting there with the clouds and stuff. So the sky was very cooperative on these few days. So we got lots of nice clouds. This area had buildings that you would think were derelict, but they were not. They were occupied. So like fishermen's homes. They just get through the winter, I guess, before or I don't know, they could do stuff. I don't know. We don't talk about that, but lots of cool buildings to walk around and look at. We found a deer.
Just up there posing for us.
Yeah.
Everybody was out to shoot this next frame and we spotted the deer.
Yeah, this is the kind of more classic. These are snow catchers so snow drifts kind of get stabilized. And while we were doing this, the deer came by and everybody pivoted for the deer.
This is an interesting thing though, because I didn't do a great job. I think this is my shot.
That's my.
Is it your shot? Okay. I didn't do a great job on this, but I saw somebody who, after the fact, unfortunately, I saw somebody who did. So it was a really good example of there's lots of opportunity. You have to learn to see it. And this just looks kind of run of the mill, but the shot that somebody showed me was
Awesome.
really good. It's like, it just said everything you needed to say about this scene. It was great.
You kind of addressed this. Was there much opportunity to see, when you got together socially with the other people, to see what they were doing?
Yeah, we would have a little social period before dinner and we'd be kind of various of us working on photos at a table. And you'd go, hey, what do you think I should do here? Give us some opinion. So we had informal kind of stuff. And then you're able to see, oh, here's a few of the ones that I got that I'm intrigued by or really happy about.
Or sometimes in the bar after dinner, you bring your laptop and show off stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
so nothing,
Not organized, just social.
not formal, not formal. So I think if I had one suggestion for him, that he actually set aside a couple nights where there was some formal review and discussion time of things.
Yeah.
But we had fun. It was all good.
Yep.
So
So
that was your shot, Mark?
I think so, yeah.
Then I'll
So multiple exposure. So lots of fun with that. I don't remember whose that is.
I don't remember.
Not mine.
Okay, it's either you or me.
It's one of our, we were both playing multiple
Yeah,
exposure.
and then, or not, right?
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
Keeps doing that.
and then I played a little bit with ICM. There were these things next to a harbor. I don't know what they were. I guess this is a ramp where you could take boats in maybe
Yeah.
or something. And so there were these bars across. And so I was playing with the camera movement just to try to get some blur. Lots of fun. The view from our hotel. This is
Yeah,
yours,
that's an
right?
iPhone.
Yeah. Oh, lots of
So
gold
these
sites.
areas were very different before the Russian invasion in 2014. Because back before then, there was lots of trade and lots of interaction between Russian citizens and Northern Japan citizens. But once that had happened, Japan pretty much instantly stopped the ferries, and they're like, eh. And so the towns are kind of dealing with the fact is they're not the end of a space, and it used to be they were kind of in between and had a lot of folks.
Yeah. So this is a view out the hotel for, this is Lake Soromo? I think-
That's that big barrier.
This is a still sea.
Are we
This
still
is a
working on
big
it?
barrier.
Okay,
The next one is
yeah,
the,
and this is a video, right?
yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Is that the video? Yeah, so I did a time lapse from my hotel room. One morning, we got up before the sun did, and I put the phone in the window and let it run while we had breakfast.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that was fun. I went up behind the cloud and that was that. So I like the little boats moving around. It's fun.
It's about an hour long shot, then?
Pardon?
That's about an hour long shot.
That's been an hour long. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So while we were wandering about, if we needed to find a restroom, sometimes we would find them in like little museums or something.
Well, this is National Park.
Okay. I've forgotten what this was. So this was a national park and they had a display there of, this was folded paper, of the animals. It was very cool.
And then I got into, again, some ICM stuff with some of the stuffed birds and kind of played with that a little bit, trying to get some motion going.
Yeah. And Gary found another tree.
A lot of trees with leaves on them, which was a surprise.
Yeah, dead leaves. Yeah. Some of them hung on to them. Yeah.
I found a very large penguin. It's like 30 feet tall.
Penguin statue.
Basically, it's just welcome to our town, basically.
Yep. And there's Russia
And there's Russia again.
out there. Then we found this place where, was it also another
Martin,
park?
we're just pulling into this park and Martin says, oh, we're going to do some bonus wildlife photography. So we pull in and it's snowing big time.
Lots.
And the swans are coming in on the lake, frozen lake.
Landing, and they're all just kind of collecting.
This is Mark's
That's
image.
my shot. Yeah. And then
This is mine
Sure.
early on before it really got started snowing.
Before it starts.
Yeah. And
Oops.
it started snowing now. And the next frame, it's really snowing.
It's really snowing.
The Z9 would lock focus on the heads of the birds. It would pick out one and put you the green focus square on that bird's head.
Yeah, there were ravens flying overhead.
What?
Your noise reduction wouldn't solve
No, that's
Yeah,
that's
there
not
were
knowing.
ravens coming in, flying overhead, so I was taking pictures of the flying snow and being able to get them in focus as well. The camera did beautifully, but then I also took pictures of trees because that's what I do. With ravens, maybe. More cute.
and then
If you can read the text on it in English, it says World Rally Team, Subaru's World Rally Team. If you're not familiar, Subaru dominates World Rally. With- Say again?
Nothing else.
No, but they're not much bigger.
What is World Rally?
It's a road race series, very challenging, run with a driver and a co-pilot who has notes on what to expect around the next corner. It's crazy racing
All over the world?
all over the world.
Wow.
So, and speaking of wildlife, we did see one fox. So I got a shot of the fox. This is very cropped at 400 millimeters. He was really far away.
And you had good reactions.
So,
I was on the wrong side of the bus.
yeah.
More boats.
More boats. Some of the boats were in good shape. More birch trees. You know, I did a ICM with the birch trees, so somewhat classic. Trying some side to side stuff at the harbor with some color. So just experimenting.
This is mine. So this is a pretty rare bird. This is a Steller's sea eagle, which is a very, very large raptor. It's like an 8 feet wingspan, and it's just absolutely huge bird.
And we saw not one, but
We saw three other
Three.
ones. So we saw a total of four, which is
yeah.
like 1% of the total number of Steller sea eagles in the world.
And we saw,
How it got blown off course. It's the only one there.
It happens.
So people have been flocking there. to get
Yeah.
pictures of it.
My wife's a birder, and she's like, that is one of those birds that you want to see if you can see them.
with a raven on its tail earlier. One of the guys got a picture of a raven trying to pluck tail feathers.
So there's a.
So I thought I added a note in here. I don't know if we may have another picture of this. So I think we're in Soroma again. So anyways, we're on the northern end. This isn't by the northern tip, but there's a crab claw statue. You can Google it. It shows up on Google. Has a name, and I thought I wrote it down. Maybe we got another shot here, but yeah, this Martin stops at two places: Pinnacle for the northernmost point and the claw.
There was some activity in the harbors. The harbors were city owned, so they were public. And it's like, okay, there are actual people out here working their boats in this weather. So I took this picture. Go ahead to the next picture. And then I got to walking around and noticed you'll see lines of snow patches there. And look closely on the left, you'll see a rope going into the ground. Yeah. Look at over to the right, there's some more patches.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all over that harbor. And then the next frame gives you an explanation. They're storing seafood in pre-caught seafood in baskets or stored on these ropes out in the bay or out in the harbor. And they come out with a forklift and they use it to pull the rope in and load these into a big basket for the forklift and carry back about a dozen of those baskets of pre-caught seafood. So there is fresh seafood everywhere.
Don't have to pay for refrigeration.
Right.
Nope. Now, two boats, not real special, but notice the sign off to the side of it there. Go ahead, next frame. That translates to the sea is dangerous. In the bottom right-hand corner is Hokkaido.
Don't go in.
Don't drive in.
And there was nothing to keep you from driving in. It's not a hint of any guardrails.
It was like Star Wars. There's no guardrails anywhere in the
No
entire
guardrail,
planet.
no.
Yeah.
And ice.
Ice.
And lots of ice, yes. So he
The
took,
sea is dangerous.
yeah. So he took us to another spot with some trees up on a hill. And so we had a lot of fun with that. Lots of different things here. I don't remember who shot this is, but fence line. The only disappointment here was the snow had started to melt. They hadn't gotten a lot of snow in this area. And so it was not as white as I think maybe we would have liked it to be. But we're okay with that. Okay with that.
Martin took off and almost ran down the hill, and I decided I'd go with him because I was sure the bus was going to come pick him up.
Yeah. That one's mine,
That's
right?
yours.
That was mine. So just trying to do something different. And then another example of taking the trees, bringing them forward, pushing things back. And then I did some artistic effects on this just to do something different.
This is
And
cool.
then this shot was interesting because everybody was trying to get the trees on the hill, and I liked the two lines of trees with the clouds. So I don't think anybody else got this shot, but it was a nice moment. So
And there's this fantastic lighthouse. We were going to this lighthouse. It was an hour drive. We get to the lighthouse. It's boring as sin.
it's a lighthouse.
It's a lighthouse. In
With solar panels.
And then you found some stuff.
And so around, it was a park area, and so there were fences and grasses and benches and things. And so I had fun wandering around doing multiple exposures and just trying different things, and feeling free to experiment. So one of the ones I was actually pretty happy with here. Colors
The-
not so great there, they're
The
orange.
3 stellar sea eagles that were there.
But there was
saw the
another
bus,
stellar sea eagle.
Gone.
Yeah.
They heard the bus and they're like, we're out of here. See you.
And that was the end of our tour. So then we got on a really cute plane and headed home. So,
Headed back to the same airport where we left off, the same airport where our hotel was.
yeah.
So
Spent another night wandering around. So Mark knew about this area that is basically a whole lot of little alleyways
Right.
and tiny bars and things like that. So we just spent some time. It's touristy. There were lots of
Back up
Westerners
to the
there,
park.
but it was fun just walking around, seeing what you found on the walls. I have a shot of this walkway with a guy off to the side peeing that I didn't realize I was taking until after I took the shot, and then he did his thing, and I went, "Really, dude?" It was a big black guy, so it was a big Westerner just peeing in public and going, "Great." So
but this is right in the city, and it's just that, not much wider than that, and it goes between 2 areas, kind of a linear park.
that big,
Yeah. It's just, there's all these wonderful wormholes.
yeah. So just stuff on the wall, a tiny bar where you might have 2, 3, 4 seats. Typically a cover charge, you go in, you have a drink, kind of thing.
There's a lot of these micro restaurants or micro places where there's, anywhere from 3 to 8 seats.
Yeah, I would try the miso soup here. This looks like the kind of place you want to go have miso soup.
Yeah.
So
I love that you have a picture of the sign that says, please don't take a picture. I have a few of those.
And it's incredibly dense, just, it's just basically alleyways.
Yeah,
And all these are micro bars where there's a bar on top of another bar, like second floor is another bar, completely independent from the first bar.
Was the food good there? Did you eat there?
We did not eat there. This is
No.
this is mostly drinking
yeah.
here.
Mostly drinking or death mention hell, whatever that is.
Yes.
They're not.
We're not gonna get on with our lives until you tell us more about it.
Yeah.
Well.
Google
uh,
Translate is your friend.
Google
Google
Translate.
Translate, and a lot of the menus actually have small font, but English text below them.
Yeah,
More than I would have expected.
yeah. So they don't litter much, but sometimes they do. So they find stuff like that. This was the road next to this area.
So literally you're like a block from this place that looks like, random alleys. And then now you've got, something that looks like it's right out of, Tokyo, a movie about straight racing or something.
But while we were there,
We went to a camera store. 8 floors of cameras,
8 floors of cameras,
like the Canon floor, the Nikon floor,
used, new, you name it.
all kinds of just amazing stuff.
And they had antiques,
Yep, antique cameras, new cameras. And like
Brothers sewing machine.
the Nikons from many, many decades
Yeah,
ago.
any Nikon you want, any Canon you want, you name it, they had it.
I don't know how much 1,000,000 yen is, but it's probably not.
70,000,
Okay,
I think.
okay. Some of these are expensive,
7,000, maybe 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah. A bunch of large format cameras. They had them on display. I think they had some for sale as well, Patrick. So go and have all kinds of fun. Bill?
Just film. I don't understand, but there's people that still want to shoot it. They had huge displays. This was getting out of the store and it was so much color, I just click.
It's really interesting, and they just, there's certainly a love of the craft and the artifact, and there's, I've never even conceived of a store this, with this many good high-end used cameras in the US. And like, I kind of have, I like the little Raleigh 35, which is a little popular camera, real popular in the 60s and 70s. Like they had 3 whole shelves of them, and they were all restored and just in very good shape. And you're like, I don't know how to pick one. So I gotta go back and pick one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was very cool. Everything was in immaculate condition. So anything you want, you could find it there, I think. So, and then randomly walking around, you things like Pikachu sitting on top of these things. This thing was like a foot tall. And I'd take a picture of it. It's like,
Everything is cute.
it's all about the cute. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I got home, after I got home, my Instagram feed started showing me stuff about Tokyo. All kinds of things that we didn't see, that we didn't know about, didn't do, including some things we did do. There's an outdoor escalator months in advance for a ticket, just so you know. But apparently they have an elevator button museum. And I'm like, I needed to see the elevator button museum. I don't know why, just because. I think that sounds fascinating. So, yeah, I think we could have done a lot more homework, but probably would have wanted to stay another 2 weeks.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
lots of fun. So, yeah, so the great thing about Tokyo is once you get there, everything's relatively cheap. The workshop was $6,000 for 12 days, which in my book, mine is a bargain. The plane ticket was, I paid about $2,000 altogether, I think, for my
Like
ticket.
that. Yeah.
The hotel at the airport was a little spendy, more than it needed to be, but it was convenient.
It was cheaper than the ones in the city.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, I didn't try to go down to,
Just telling you.
yeah, okay, all right.
And
No, we stayed in Haneda, which, by the way, it's so close in, it's super convenient. And
Oh, yeah.
there are more flights than there used to be.
Yeah, Haneda was great. The train and the monorail, get out to the stations and then go wherever you want was a piece of cake. Google Translate was your friend. I had gone in '92 for work. I was in the downtown in the financial district and walked around, did some subways or trains. Wasn't a problem back then because everywhere I went, everybody spoke English because it ended up being easy, but there's no Google Translate. But this time, Google Translate made it easy to, like, no matter where you are. We went to a ramen shop, got a stool, and I don't think they were speaking English,
No,
were
not-
they?
there was no English.
None of English.
Google Translate was your friend, and it just made everything really easy. So, yeah, thank you, Google. That was very cool.
And the Google Maps will get you anywhere you want to go, tell you how to maneuver in the train station, when the trains are there, what car to get on.
Yeah, it made it very, very, very easy to get around. And I want to go back. I want to go back. So, lots of fun. So,
Any other questions or any? Highly recommended. I think going to Tokyo is fantastic. Certainly doing the kind of nature thing is completely different and also quite fun.
Bullet trains are amazing.
I think we need bullet trains here.
yeah.
I'll take trains here.
Well, they were going to build one in Texas, but apparently now it's going to New Mexico for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's
man.
politics involved.
Yes. No,
Not with bullet trains.
no.
When
Dad,
you get off the bullet train in Houston and you're 50 miles from your destination, that's a problem.
That's the problem
What's
with,
the problem?
yeah, we don't have the infrastructure for it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tokyo has 3 or maybe 4 circle train routes around the city, just getting, like we have loops, they have train routes around the city.
it's amazing.
And you can get on them going in either direction. And it's straightforward.
Stay up long enough to go home.
You come right back. Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and when all else fails, get a cab. When you're totally lost, get off the train, get a cab, they'll get you home.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, tell them what you want, they take you there. It's great. It was fantastic. So
Cool.
highly recommended. Oh, thanks. Not bad. We finished in an hour and 30. Not bad. Good. Awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you all.
Very nice.
Nice.
Okay.
We get any more questions from the audience, Clay?
Pat's gonna close this out.
Cool.
Cool.
Pat's closing us out. Okay, oh, I can see myself. Oh my God. Hi there. Okay, so our speaker for next month, I am very embarrassed to say I have his first name, and that is Miguel. Miguel used to be a member here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah, well,
Yeah, he's APPA
he's
president now.
PPA. Okay, so he's going to be speaking on what he does as a pro when he's not working full-time elsewhere. So that's our speaker for next month, and that'll be on, you guys are going to correct me anyway, July 17th. And so, and then we have 2 weeks before that. 2 weeks before that is July 3rd. Are we meeting on July 3rd?
I think the last discussion I heard, we are meeting because there wasn't that many people that were going to travel.
Okay, so we are meeting on July 3rd for competition and judging, and then on the 17th, we'll have a presentation. And we have, oh no, there's not, yeah, the 31st is a fifth, it's a fifth Thursday. So we have to figure that one out. So in the meantime,
Actually, working on a place.
oh, that's right, yeah, we've been talking about that, yeah, a couple of us. So, okay, that's about it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It was very fun to see all your pictures and hear about all your experiences. Wonderful. Thank you very much, and we'll see everybody